enough about me. Let's immediately get right into this incredible field and talk to you about first the men's side. And as you all know, 2011 for sure is the year of the Novak. And undoubtedly, when you talk about Novak Djokovic, and I'll show you some incredible video on him in just a second, but first of all, he's 48-1 coming into 2011. He has only lost one match, the semifinals at the French Open, to Roger. But let this speak for itself. Take a quick look at Novak Djokovic.
Hi, I'm Novak Djokovic from Serbia. My favorite shot is backhand down the line. My motivation is a win, regardless if it's on a Grand Slam or any other event. Just the feeling of winning a tennis match is irreplaceable. Well, Pete Sampras was my idol because of his attitude on the court, the way he was coping with the pressure, and in my eyes, he was just the best in the world, and I loved his personality and his champion spirit. It's important. It's part of my personality. I never want to leave that aside. Everybody is different. I like to enjoy the life on the court and off the court. Chatting with the fans, just doing impersonations, whatever comes up to my mind in a certain moment. If the moment is right, it becomes spontaneous, and I enjoy it. I really do. Fan support is always welcome at any stage. I'm trying to pay a lot of attention to the fans as well. They're the ones who buy the tickets and spend a lot of time, watching you play. It is getting faster, and it definitely is another sport comparing to the tennis from 15, 20 years ago. There are much more baseline players, obviously, today on the tour, and you don't see a lot of serve and volley players, which goes to my favor. I'm a baseline player, and you get to see more rallies, but the players these days are returning the ball much better than they did 20 years back, so it's really hard to get a lot of free points and on serve. Pressure is part of our sport. If you are intending of being one of the best in the world, you have to learn how to deal with the pressure. So if you accept it that way, I'm sure that success will come.
You talk about the significance of having Novak here. As you know, he's #1 in the world now. And it just was a few years ago at Indian Wells, I was interviewing this gawky, skinny, smart aleck of a little kid. And he was so sure that this was going to happen, and he almost predicted exactly when it was going to take place. And we talk about the significance of Novak being here and this new rivalry. Right after Novak won Wimbledon, his mom said, for years it's been this rivalry between Rafa and Roger, Rafa, and now it's Novak, and it certainly is. And I'm not going to push Roger to the side at all. And I'm a huge fan of Roger's, but it's interesting to see now this rivalry forming between Novak and Rafael Nadal. But certainly Novak wants the US Open. He wants it bad. He's been a finalist there, and I think that Cincinnati is going to be a big opportunity for him to sink his teeth into continuing to play so well this summer. And moving on, we got to talk about someone else who's very, very significant to Cincinnati. He loves it here. He's a huge fan of this city, and I have a fun story to tell you in just a second. But first, take a look at the maestro from Switzerland, Roger Federer.
Hello, I'm Roger Federer. I'm from Switzerland, and my favorite shot is my forehand. My first tennis memories must be when I picked up a wooden racket first up, and the white tennis balls back then as a kid, wanting to become a great player. My motivation has come through my idols, my heroes, and then now it's, I think, the fans have really pushed me to play more, to show how long and how much I can do it still to come, and I never had as many fans as today, so I really enjoy walking out on center court now in front of 10 to 15,000 people, and yeah, I can't wait to find that atmosphere again. I've had a lot of time to, over 10, 15 years on tour now, to create an incredible fan base on my website, at the tennis, over Facebook. I have many people, holding up signs, and that's something that really motivates me in a big way. I definitely think it's glamorous, the tennis life, even though we organize it ourselves, so you decide how glamorous you want it to be. But obviously being famous and a celebrity and a tennis star comes with its tougher times too, always being recognized. You feel a bit followed, but that's part of it, and I would do it all over again if I had a choice. My toughest opponent is obviously Rafael Nadal. I've played against him, I think, over 20 times in all the Grand Slam finals except the US Open, in many other finals as well, which we've had some amazing matches against each other. Pressure comes with the game, and in the territory we move around. I never had a problem. I always thought I played better on the more important courts against the more important players. It just really got the best out of me because I knew I didn't have different options. I felt like there was one way to play against this certain great player, and then I play much better.
And you look at Roger, Roger's going to be, he's 29. By the time our tournament starts in a few weeks, he will be the ripe age of 30. And coming into this tournament, you think how many players on both sides of the draw don't remember the white tennis balls. Roger's one of the few who still played with white tennis balls when he was a kid, and I know most of us remember those as well. A funny story last year with Roger on this court. Roger came up to me after he won this tournament. He beat Marty Fish in the final, as you all know, and he came up to me and he said, "Andrew, I need your introduction card that I read from when I introduce the players down on court." And the first thing that came to my mind was, oh my God, did I make a mistake? You never want to make a mistake with Roger. He listens to every single thing everybody says about him. He can tell you every tournament he's won, how many Masters Shields he's won. And he comes in and he takes my card and he asked me to borrow my Sharpie. And he was so excited. This may sound insignificant to you, but first of all, to have Roger ask for the card back got me nervous. But he asked for my Sharpie and he changed the number on his intro from 62 to 63. He was so excited to get through a small drought and so excited to win this tournament, and he thought it was the funniest thing in the world that he could actually cross it out and add another number. So every title, the point of my story is that every title, even now, is more significant to him than ever. And I think him coming in to this tournament this summer, some of his critics are saying that it might be coming to an end, but I don't think so. I think there's a lot in store from Roger. I think he's a major contender for this tournament as well as the US Open. And he's a great guy, and we had a lot of fun teasing him last year for wearing a pink shirt all summer long that he chose a whole year before. But a great sense of humor, very approachable, and quite significantly, I think the most important person, male or female, to the game of tennis. And to have him here in Cincinnati is pretty cool, and he loves it here. As John was saying, it's a player favorite here. Let's move on. I'm talking too much. Let's see our next player, Andy Roddick. And he loves playing in Cincinnati. Take a peek at this.
I'm Andy Roddick from the United States. My favorite shot is the between the legs topspin drop shot. You know, tennis is a little bit of an ego thing. You know, you want to stick around and you want to show that you can still play well. Motivation has never been the issue for me. When you play a sport, it's tough to constitute it as a real job, but traveling is hard, training is hard. You know, that being said, I think we should all be pretty thankful for the life that we do have. Playing in an empty stadium, I promise you, it wouldn't be nearly as fun. You know, as much as they enjoy the atmosphere of coming to a match, we enjoy the atmosphere of playing one in front of them. So it's a give and take that I think, at least on our side, we can certainly appreciate it. if you care about something enough, you're going to be nervous about it. You know, whether that's in tennis, whether, you know, that's everyday life. I mean, if you care about something, you're going to, you know, be anxious about it, or you're going to kind of think about it a lot. And I think that constitutes nerves. I think the thing that separates the top guys is just how you deal with it. When I first came out, I was one of the bigger guys on tour, and now I'm walking around the locker room. I'm extremely average in height anyways, and you're seeing these guys that are 6'7", 6'9", that can still run around. Is it everything? No. You know, I think that would be disrespectful to my wife and my family. But on that day, it's extremely important, you know, and I'll do everything I can to put myself in position to win.
A tough loss last year. Andy lost to Marty Fish, who's now our top American Marty Fish. We'll talk about him in just a moment. But real quick with Andy, big-time fan of playing at night here in Cincinnati, and I think you'll see some fans going crazy for the number 10 and the number 2 ranked American. That's Andy Roddick. Moving on, we can't forget about the man from Mallorca, Rafael Nadal, an amazing young gentleman in the prime of his career. Take a look.
Hello, I am Rafael Nadal. I am from Spain. I started playing tennis when I was a kid, 3 years old. For me, it's a dream being a professional tennis player and enjoying this tour. For sure, I am what I always dreamed to be. My motivation was always the same one: be better, just keep improving my tennis and feel myself better every year, no? And that's what I go every day on court. I have a lot of friends on the tour, a lot of Spanish players are in the top 100, and Argentinians too, and that makes less difficult to be outside of home a long time. When you are in the tournament and when you go to practice, you go to the hotel and you see the people waiting for you. You are there and the crowd support you. That's an unbelievable feeling. So I just can say thank you very much, all the people around the world. Well, the finals always are special matches. Go on court, try to be calm. I am never calm. I always nervous before a final, but I just try my best, thinking about point by point, and just keep playing. Don't think about the victory or winning the trophy. Just think about the next point.
Rafa's 51-8 coming into the Olympus US Open Series, and a wonderful young guy. He's 25 years old and wants very much to get a hold of this rivalry between Novak Djokovic. Although Rafa is ahead 16-12, the last 4 or 5 times that they've played, Novak has come out the winner, and Rafa has admitted that Novak's into his head. As you all know, tennis can be a mental sport as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this summer now that this new rivalry has formed. So with those top gentlemen, I still think there are some dangers lurking out there for sure. And we talk about the fact that Andy Murray is going to be here, our 2008 champion. Andy Murray is about as dangerous as they come, and he would love a second trophy here from Cincy. Not to mention, Andy, we got Marty Fish, who we talked about earlier. Marty Fish is the number 1 ranked American right now. He's number 9 in the world, playing some of the best tennis in his career at 30 years old, and was a finalist last year and really pushed Roger to the limit. So very dangerous, and Marty has said a number of times that he wants to one-up himself from what he did last year here in the finals. Our number 7 player in the world, Gaël Monfils, here from France. The Frenchman covers more ground than just about anybody. He's in incredible shape. He's at a career high. Very unpredictable, very eccentric, and I think could be of major danger. Not to mention the Bryan brothers, our defending champions, are continuing to break record after record. They just won their 11th major together, and when they took Wimbledon, and have won 73 ATP Masters, ATP World Tour titles, including a large number of Masters Shields as well. So Bob and Mike Bryan, very dangerous, and will be putting on a great show for their fans here in Cincy. And that is it so far on the men's side, some of my thoughts. But moving on to the WTA, an exciting tournament for them as well, and especially with it being combined. And one thing that no one's really talked about, and I'm probably going to get in a little bit of trouble, but the unique camaraderie that you're going to see when it's going to be male and female here at the same time. It happens at Indian Wells, it happens in Miami, and it becomes a whole different spark. And the men and women are playing here at the same time, and it's a lot of fun. They love it, they appreciate it, and I think it improves their performance. I know on the men's side it does for sure. But seeing them here together and competing on the same court at the same time is going to be a very unique dynamic.